Hey everyone, I hope all of you are doing well, and I want to sincerely apologize for not being active within the last week. It's been a bit interesting for me as I've picked back up training and then I've started a new job and everything is just everywhere, and so I'm trying to find the schedule for everything, and it's been very taxing to say the least, but it's been good too. I'm enjoying my work, I'm enjoying the training, I'm enjoying everything that's going on with here, and as I noticed that I was starting to fall behind in my activities when it came to speaking and when it came to putting out these videos, I actually had to take the time to consider, is that an okay thing? And for me, I feel like it is. And there's a few reasons for that. So with speaking and with wanting to put myself out there and with wanting to help people and everything that I'm doing with YouTube, YouTube, social media marketing and everything with that, I'm in the very early stages right now, and right now are the times to make these drastic changes and to fall behind a little bit to figure out what does and does not work before I just try offering things to people and before I try offering things to businesses and to families and everything like that. That is a goal one day, but it's not there right now. My plan of attack for all of this is I'm going to have a set of videos, a set of information that is put out there that individuals will be able to look on and will be able to see my dedication to all of this. And that's why I want to be honest with all of you and say that, yeah, I'm being pretty slow the last week as I'm trying to get things figured out, and that's an okay thing. When it comes to our goals and when it comes to actually working on them, at times we get caught up in thinking that we're not doing enough or that we're falling behind, but that's not a bad thing. Recognizing where you're at is equally as important as recognizing where it is that you want to go. So understanding that you're falling a little bit behind or you're trying to come up with a new way to do things like what I'm doing right now is absolutely valid and is absolutely okay. So definitely keep that in mind as you start working on your goals. But I do have a different color hair, and so bear with me on that. Just did it last night, and so I've got some smudges and things going on. So just bear with me on that, and if you can get past that, then we can definitely get through this, and hopefully by the end of this video, you'll come out with a new perspective on relationships. So something that you guys don't see very often are all my outtakes. So frequently I burp. Frequently, there are moments when I get distracted because I hear a noise or because someone walks into the room or what have you, but one way or another I'm getting distracted by something, so I do have a lot of outtakes. And that's a bit humorous to me. I've actually shared some of the burping moments with people, and they're like, you should do a collaboration of all those videos and everything, and I more than likely will at one point in time, maybe after a year into this, put out there some sort of goofy remembrance video looking back and everything. But that's not this video. This video, we are going to talk about relationships. More specifically, how do we become someone that someone is interested in? Something that I'll go ahead and put out there and put my neck on the chopping block with this is that I am polyamorous. I practice non-monogamy. I have been for the last couple of years, and that's been working out very wonderfully for me. But like many things within my life, it's been trial and error figuring out what does and does not work for me in my life. Just like someone who is monogamous, relationships are different. What you like and what you don't like are different, and not two relationships are ever going to be the same. But with that, I've had a plethora of different experiences with people, and I've met a plethora of different people. And with that, it's allowed me to have such an adventure and to open my network and to open my possibilities with people. I don't have to put out just one set of standards because I'm looking for that one long-term partner or anything like that. For me, it's more so about who the person is, and what ways are they going to be beneficial to me. Is this going to be damaging in any way to me? And then going from there. Right now I have one very wonderful long-term partner, and it's kind of interesting how that started. I'm not going to share too much, but one thing that I will share is that neither of us really planned for this. We didn't really plan to be long-term partners together, as I was still very non-persistent with one specific individual in my life at that time. I was just not wanting to really remain close to someone like that. I was wanting the experiences, and I was wanting to just be kind of all over the place a little bit, and whatever came into my life, and whatever didn't, then that was okay too. But we met each other and we started talking and we started spending time together and everything, and we applied logic to it and we applied a sense of ethics to it. And with that, we both communicated on where it is that we wanted to go with ourselves as individuals, and could we take that application of individuality Could we form some sort of stable companionship with that? And what would that look for us? So with them, they found that where they were thinking that they were going to practice non-monogamy, they found that they're actually pretty happy being monogamous right now. And I fully support that. Just like I would fully support if they wanted to start practicing non-monogamy. They've been absolutely supportive when it comes to being in a relationship with me and my non-monogamous self. And that's not been easy. We've had to take these moments where we'll talk about things and we'll work on things and so on and so forth, and that's completely okay. Relationships need to have that communication, and especially one such as ours where there's non-monogamy involved, there's different experiences happening and things like that. You definitely want to have the communication. Excuse me. So with that, so with the relationship, and then so with what them and I have going on, it's probably the most solid and healthiest relationship I think that I've ever participated in, at least when it comes to attempting long-term with someone. There's communicating. There is discussion. Two different things there. There is self-awareness. There is the respect for individuality. So we're coming up on a year at the end of February, and I can count on one hand the amount of times that the amount of issues that we've had within our relationship. And that's absolutely fantastic. And that right there is just proof to me and proof to them that what we're doing, the ethics and the standards and the logic that's being thought and practiced into this is working. And it is so very healthy, essentially. So with that, when we're talking about standards and we're talking about ethics in a relationship, and I'm being very vague about all of this, and I'll get more detailed here soon, I promise. But with that, in our relationship, we've had to make sacrifices, and we've had to make adjustments, and we've had to be really disciplined. And the disclaimer to a successful relationship is obviously that it's not easy. And just like reaching your goals, bettering your life, enriching your relationships, even the ones that are not romantic, those you have to discipline, and you have to apply that level of mindset in order for it to be as strong. The stronger you are in working on your relationship, the stronger the relationship is going to be. So, with my 2 years of practicing non-monogamy, what are some things that I've learned? Well, I've learned a lot of things, and I've had some okay experiences, and I've had some not okay experiences, but one key thing, and now we're going to start diving in here, so just follow along with me, is that you get rejected quite a bit in different moments. But is that a bad thing? And what is that like? Am I getting rejected because I don't have game? Am I getting rejected because I'm not attractive? Am I getting rejected because I don't make enough money? You know, these are some like cliche rejections that people come across. But so you have to ask yourself, why am I being rejected here? So whenever, depending on the type of experience that I want to have with someone, if I want to have a potentially emotional or friendship experience, or maybe something more than platonic friendship with someone, there are things that I will look for in the person, and I will ask myself, can I bring this person into my life? Or in what ways, if I do bring them into my life, can I have them in? What areas can I involve them in if I wanted to? Could I bring them around my partner? Is my partner going to get along with this person? Or if I, just have a friendship with someone and then there's physical benefits to that friendship, I have to think of the safety, the health, the mental clarity of myself. I have to think and discuss how this is going to be with my partner, and we talk about it. And there's boundaries, and there's all of that involved in everything. So there's a whole lot of thought process when it comes to relationships. Something that I find within people within my life or people within my past, and and they're thinking of relationships, and they want to find the one, and they want to be good enough, and they want someone to accept them for all of their faults. And when they don't accept them for their faults, and then it's the poor me, I'm not good enough perspective. But that's not necessarily the case. And we don't need to make the other person feel guilty because they're not into us, and we don't need to feel lesser of ourselves because they're not into us. So what I mean by that is, I'm going to go ahead and go over a scenario with you. When it comes to possibly wanting a potential experience with someone, I'm wanting to observe how I'm going to be able to talk to them. I want to observe the type of responses that I get from them. Am I getting feedback? Am I getting interest from this person? If I am, great. But if I am, then great. And if not, then why am I not getting interest and getting feedback? Well, maybe they're not a very talkative person. And that's okay too. It just may not be exactly what I'm looking for at that time. Doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with them. And I'm not trying to say that them being shy or them not being talkative is a fault by any means. But if it's not what I'm looking for at that moment within my life, or if it's not helping me towards my long-term goals or even my short-term goals, then that's an acceptable thing. I'm sure they're a great person and I'm sure there's a lot of benefits to them, but there's just not that level of compatibility there. And that's what we cannot ignore is their compatibility. Compatibility is more than just physical compatibility together. It is more than just we both like the same type of music or the same type of movies or what have you. Compatibility is, do we both perceive the world in similar eyes? And if not, then what are our differences and how do we handle those differences? Can we respect each other for the differences, or is this going to cause an argument and then our relationship is just going to be dysfunctional the entire time? So that's what a lot of the involvement is, and that's a lot of what we have to think about. So with that, I've got a whole list here of things that we're going to be talking about that I wrote down. So ask yourself, what do you have to offer someone? For me, I like to think that I'm very good at being able to contribute to conversations. Now, if I'm not feeling well, or if I'm a little bit out of it, or something of the sort, then obviously there are reasons why I'm not contributing very well. And then if I'm not contributing very well because I don't like the person, then it is my responsibility to communicate that, because I don't want to waste their time and I don't want to waste my time. So I need to ask myself what it is that I can contribute to this person. I do my best to be intellectually sharp in different areas. I'm no smarter than any other person. I just may be educated in one area more than the other. So I like to think that I have that to offer. I like to think that I have perspectives to offer when it comes to relationships and maintaining them, and ideas on how to keep them very, very secure and very, very healthy. So I have that to offer. I'm doing my best with my physical appearance as much as I can. So I like to think that I have that desire to be physically attractive to offer to someone as well. And many, many more. So consider what it is that you have to offer someone. And if you're, starting to think that and you realize that maybe you don't have a whole lot to offer someone, then where are you at with your life? Is this even a good time to be looking for some sort of relationship or some sort of connection with someone? And if not, then that's okay too. You definitely want to take care of yourself before you ever try to take care of someone else, because it just really creates a sense of stress and a level of dependability that may not be the healthiest for you. So another key factor when it comes to relationships are what are my faults and what are theirs? And are what we are both working on going to be able to come together in a healthy setting? So no one is perfect. Don't even try it, and don't let anyone ever try to tell you that's the case. But is what we're working on going to interfere with their life? Is what they're working on going to interfere with my life? And I have at moments felt bad because I've rejected a potential meeting with someone, or I've rejected a potential experience with someone because of what they're working on with their life. It raises too many concerns and red flags into my life if I were to allow that in. So I have to keep them at a distance, and maybe, there can be a time later on down the road, if there's a level of progress or if there's a level of change where the compatibilities can be more effective then. But if not, then that's okay too, because like I said, we're both working on different things, and I've had people reject me because of where I was at with my life, and so on and so forth. And so being honest with ourselves is the first step to being honest with other people. In order for us to feel better about ourselves, in order for us to hold ourselves to a higher value, we have to be honest about where we are equally to where we are not. And that's not a bad thing. It's not something to shame yourself for. It's not something to beat yourself up for it or anything like that. It is just taking the time to accept that, hey, I'm still working on this. This is what I've got going on in my life. And for the moment, we could have some good experiences together, but what you're looking for, what I'm looking for, if we tried to put the two and two together with what we're working on, that may cause some serious problems down the road. For myself with my partner, we both from the start, and this is one of the things that I love about this relationship, the both of us from the start communicated what it is our intentions were, what it is that we were working towards, and why it is that we were not looking to get serious together right off the bat with someone, and that we weren't looking for anything long term. We were honest with one another about our faults. We were honest with one another about what it is that we're working on and our concerns and our fears. Both of us have had not the best experiences in past relationships because it's been both a trial and error with the both of us. And with that, we brought that into this relationship. We brought that into each other, and we've helped each other through that. We've not fought. We've not hollered at one another. We have discussed and we've debated, but there's not been a dysfunctional argument that we were both used to. And that's really, really great. In moments, something that happens if one of us is recognizing that the other person is getting frustrated and that individual is not able to recognize that they're getting frustrated, we will observe that is happening, point it out and say, we need to collect ourselves, we need to calm down, and we need to revisit this later if we cannot do this in a calm and clear mindset right now, because you deserve that respect. I deserve that respect, and that's what's going to be the best for both of us. So that's just a bit of an example of how this relationship has become what it is today, which, like I said, going on a year at the end of the month is just, I can't believe it, and I cannot believe how wonderful it is. But anyways, when we're talking about, faults and everything like that, just recognize and accept that you're an individual, so are they. You both are working on things, and if you guys cannot figure out a way to bring the potential of these compatibilities or incompatibilities together and your faults together all in the same setting, then that's okay too. Maybe look at a different type of dynamic for your relationship, something that works for the both of you. And if it doesn't work, obviously that is okay too. So, incompatibilities. What does that look like when we recognize it? What do we experience? So, a few different things that we are going to experience. Not everyone may experience these. These are just a few ideas that I was writing down when I was thinking of this, of putting this video together. What are some responses internally that we feel? Well, we're going to feel sadness, right? Because we got our hopes up of this person. We really wanted to be with him. We really, was looking forward to some sort of experience with him. So we're going to feel sadness. And with that thinking comes what? Comes disappointment. So we may be a little bit disappointed because we had high hopes for this, or maybe we had some sort of hopes. And I am guilty of still to this day, if I come across someone that I'm thinking I can have an interesting experience with, and I get my hopes up with them, and then I discover there's an incompatibility that I'm not comfortable with, or if I discover that this just isn't going to work out, or maybe they reject me for their own sense of security, which is completely valid and okay, I realize I am a little bit disappointed, and not just necessarily in the fact that this is not something that's going to be pursued, but in myself, because I allowed myself to get my hopes up, and I recognize that I should not always do that. Fucking shit. So at times when we're on a streak of rejection, what does that create? That creates a sense of hopelessness. And let me tell you, hopelessness can be a very, very powerful emotion, especially if you're working on things in your life and maybe you don't have the best perspective of your life. Hopelessness can damage quite a bit. So please be careful with that. If you start to feel hopeless, please reach out to a friend. Please make sure you communicate that to a therapist, whoever it is that you need to talk to help kind of focus your perspective a little bit, because I can guarantee if you have the ability to be able to be conscious of the decisions that you're making to better yourself and recognizing that it's okay that the two don't mix between you and another person and you're just going to separate, part ways from there or whatever, like that situation is, if you have that ability to be that consciously aware, you are not helpless, my friend. You are so wise. That is a very virtuous perspective, virtuous way of thinking. That is very ethical to be able to hold yourself to those standards and to those ideologies. And that says a lot about you. And an individual, hopefully, that you have conversations with is going to recognize that, is going to see that. I know that was one of the first things for me about my partner, is that they are able to take information that they may not be used to, or they are able to take information that may contradict what they know, and they're able to take the time to consider that and figure out what that means for themselves. They are also able to present information to me in a way, if it contradicts something that I follow, that they understand that I may need time to think on it before I can make a decision off whatever it was that was presented to me. That's such a powerful characteristic to find in someone, and if you have that, and if you have that in your relationship, then that already is going to drive that relationship to a healthy outcome, whether it's a healthy ending or whether it's a healthy everlasting, hopefully, dependent on, obviously, we're not going to get too specific. So with that, what are benefits of accepting incompatibility? Well, first off, and I am someone who loves this, not wasting time. I hate wasting time, and hate is a very strong word, but I hate wasting time. I will not put my energy and my time and my effort into someone if it doesn't seem likely that things are going to work out, or not even with relationships, just things in general. If it's not going to be beneficial for me and rewarding for me to be able to put my time and effort into something, then I'm not going to waste my time. And that doesn't mean that whatever the activity or the person, whoever is, has a lesser value. It just means that I'm recognizing my time could be spent being beneficial somewhere else, and that's absolutely okay, just like it is okay for you. So, aside from one of the benefits being of not wasting time, you are also eliminating a very high risk of dysfunctional relationships. Because the two of you, the sum of you, however many is involved, recognize that the incompatibility is there, and you guys are, making whatever decisions that you have to on how to go about things. And if you try to force something, maybe from past experiences, maybe from other relationships and so on, it just doesn't work. Trying to force something that isn't there, especially something as serious as a relationship, it's a very dysfunctional decision, and it creates such a dysfunctional relationship. I'm not trying to say that there are not going to be happy moments. There are, obviously. Something's bringing the sum of you together. But there's definitely going to be a higher risk of dysfunction if you guys aren't recognizing that beforehand, if you're trying to force something that just isn't quite there. And trust me, I get how sad that is. And I get how disappointing that is. But definitely take the time to consider that. Definitely take the time to work on figuring out what that means for you. But last and not least, and I kind of touched base on this, but the best benefit that I find when it comes to accepting incompatibility is it gives you a bit of ownership over yourself, right? It gives you that self-awareness. I am self-aware that one of my faults is not going to work with someone else. I'm not going to put them through that. I'm not going to try to force it or anything like that. It's just not going to work. And that's such a beautiful thing, to have that sense of self-awareness, and having that level of reassurance and respect for the other person, and knowing that you're out there practicing that within your life is a very attractive quality to have. Absolutely attractive. I can guarantee if you're doing that and then you finally get into a conversation with someone where you have a higher level of compatibility and you share with them, well, I want to get to know you first. I want to take time with this. I don't want to rush into X, Y, and Z. And I'm doing that because if there is a level of incompatibility there, I want to make sure you're going to come out of this okay as equally as I am. And that right there is going to create such an amount of respect between you and that person. And that is very, very attractive. Well, depending on what the person's attractions are, I guess. But virtuously, it is attractive. So that's what I wanted to go over with relationships. And I know my mannerisms and behavior is a little bit all over the place, and I'm a little bit hyper, but it's been a busy day. It's been a busy week. And I've been really excited to put this out there. I was testing the waters a little bit about whether or not to publish a video on Mondays, Fridays, and everything. I think I'm going to stick to Fridays, just so putting that out there. Fridays have a new video uploaded, but I'm also going to work on getting into the habit of putting out little clips throughout the week. So definitely stay tuned for those. And also, like I said many, many times, leave a like, leave a comment, please subscribe, please share this, offer me your critiques in any way, offer me your supports, your thoughts, your experiences in relationships, and definitely put a heart in the comments if you're doing your best to maintain your relationships, whether you're monogamous, whether you're non-monogamous, whatever your relationship style is. If you're doing everything that you can to ensure the success of your individual health as well as your relationship health, definitely put a heart in the comments. Okay. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Please have a wonderful, safe weekend, and I will talk to all of you next Friday. Bye!